And so what we're seeing now is the market messing about this monthly VWAP. It's not getting above it, it's not getting below it, it's not an ideal time for us to trade. We'll just wait for a clear skew. Some of the things that I'll be looking at will be this theme, right, which is still really intact. See this? Gets the second deviation, off it goes to the upside. If we start pushing above that first deviation, then that's a clue that that theme's over. First thing we want to be doing is just avoiding losing money. We don't need to be in the bottom, remember, like who cares? It's not our gig to get the bottom and the tops. It's just get into scenarios where super tight risk, odds favor things working, and we can take some dough out. Some larger sized buys coming in. That actually started all the way back here. But remember, some of these bigger players, they can't go in one hit, so they just start slowly accumulating. So we've seen a switch to bigger inventory being purchased, and it hasn't taken long before suddenly we've got a skew to the upside. Looking like this theme might just be on the brink of being over. Not quite yet. Price is hugging along this EMA. We've seen that many a time before. So do I want to get long? Oh, we're at this big acceptance. Oh no, look what I've missed out on. The thing about missing out that does a lot of traders in is it's not about what you've missed out on. It's about capturing moves that have the right parameters that you can just keep doing it over and over again. So the theme, that was the first thing. Looks like that theme's over. Okay, cool. I need to monitor that as closely. Certainly bigger size coming in. Looking for, if we were far enough away from this big acceptance area, let's say we come down here, get some failures. If there's potential for a cushion, yeah, I'll get long into that. And then manage the trade at this point. That's an important area to start working through. So now it's like, okay, we just haven't got real acceptance above it, but I'm certainly like looking to pounce, just want the right behavior. Happy to even trade this move on momentum. So lift the market, and if the thing slows down, I can use that small, tiny cushion to help with exiting if it runs out of puff. The battle that's going on in the DOM, see how they're trying to push now the sellers, particularly that seller that just came in. So you can see what the market makers, well, it appears they're trying to do. Just coming into a prior high, which is kind of like an anchor to the downside. The spread's not very helpful, so we've dropped below. No acceptance up here, that's what we've run into. And this high over there. But the skew is up, isn't it? Plenty short inventory above. I got out, way too many failures for me. I don't have enough of a cushion to sit through it pulling back. And it just gives me like a mental break for a sec. So when I've been sitting in this and I'm watching every price and thing go through, now it just gives me, I feel it immediately. It's like, just a break. So now I'm ready, just that couple of moments. I can go back again if I want to. And I feel like I've been able to catch my breath. So a reminder that what is the most prominent direction of the market been today? Down. So this is in contrast to that. So it's going to struggle because the market has set up trending to the downside. So I've spoken about this before. When you're looking for these moves to the upside, the likelihood of them continuing has a lot to do with what the preceding environment is. So if you've got a strong uptrend like yesterday, etc., well, yeah, sure. But you want to be more on the defensive side when you get a big move like that into what has been a trending to the downside move. We pulled up as soon as that resting liquidity got pulled. See here, where this got cancelled, there was resting liquidity down at this transition. It's hard for the market just to turn like that. Had a good go at it, but we're in a market that's moving to the downside. So absolutely fine to trade the upside in this, although I didn't make any money doing it, as it turns out. And then when it pulled back, I had a going long here, which I bailed out of, and then got short, which I'll show you. So there's the exit out of my long, decent enough pullback. Yeah, I went short here. So it took 1.5 basis points of heat. Okay, so tight risk, but is ready for that because I understand what's going on, bigger picture wise. So I see this as the first sort of swing, and so we're into the second. So I'm just going to use where business is. Going to move up here as we move into Hong Kong lunch. So we gave that a good red hot go, didn't we? Trying to push lower. So now we've got 1 and then 2 failed attempts to get below that monthly VWAP with quite a bit of time that has taken place between the two. So I'm long into this. So I had to chase that up a bit with exiting in my short. So another uneventful trade. So once this selling here got offside, that was my cue to go, okay, I'll enter now. What happened last time we're at this area? Here it is over here. The market got a bit of a reaction, but then it kept going. So I'm not too fast this time around that we're getting the reaction, because we've already proven that it wasn't a big deal before. Sure, there was a reaction there, but the market kept going. It isn't this level specifically that brought this to the end. It was more that the amount of reversion in an overall downtrend, I think, was the undoing. Well, this time round, we've actually failed to continue the downtrend. So if anything, we are looking at this same hypothesis that I talked about in big picture prep. So can we break the downtrend? Well, we need to find out if we can get above this level. What's going to be above there? Protective orders. There's some slippage on the sell side. That uses up selling fuel. This is a good example of got to have kahunas at times to trade. This looks horrible, doesn't it? Failure, failure, failure. And so I've just got to not give a crap about what I think and just let the market either take me out or keep going. What I can't do is go, this looks terrible, I'm exiting. I can think it's terrible, but I just can't act on that. This is the first time I've gone far out today. Like I haven't had any other situations where I've gone, this is just looking ugly. And it was because of all those failures. So anytime you do have a thought about the market, you should be journaling and you go, I felt this at this time. And what happens is over time, you look through your notes, you'll see this incredible stat that every time you think it's going to go to it doesn't. That's a good example. I thought this was destined for absolute just before, but my evidence certainly outweighed what I was feeling. Now, what brings about that feeling? Okay, so I had a long here that I had to get out virtually at scratch. And then I had a long that I lost on. Not much, but it was still a loss. And then I had a short that I saw X amount P&L and then half of that went. So see the events that moved up to it. So at least I know that it's been chipping away at me. It's not just this in isolation. None of those three things were particularly horrendous, right? But this is the fourth one in a row now where nothing's going on. I mean, now I've got a bit of a cushion and stuff and it's cool, but I didn't before and I'm like, oh man, I'm going to get done again. If this was the first trade I was in, I wouldn't have had that feeling. Still doesn't mean I'm going to have a winning trade. I just know I'm not going to lose money here. And part of this I'm going to put down to that long drawing it out there, and we're doing it again, is because why? Well, we're trying to use the clock, obviously. The next step in this is, if I've got this read right, what do I want to do now? I want to get some more bloody size on, don't I? See this hanging back here on the bid? The deliberate enticement for sellers. Have they taken the bait? Yeah, they have before. See how there's been some hit the market and slippage? And you can see how fine the line is between making money and not making money. I haven't exited my trade, so I might have a scratch trade. And I'm not sure if I'll get the chance to add. So we're just getting above that area of acceptance where we have the majority of aggressive shorts. The market maker isn't ready to let this rip because they keep putting that bid in the guts of that acceptance. Now remember, this is just a hypothesis. I could have this wrong. All I'm trying to do is take cues from the market, and a lot of the times I can read it to a degree that is profitable. But I know I can't solve the problem 100% of the time. And even when I do solve them, I don't get 100% of it sorted. I get 60, 70% the way there, which is enough to make money, so that's good. Not deep enough for me to want to add in here, particularly because that little spot there was a 2-lot. So the only way I'm going to be able to add is if we get a rip to the upside, momentum type, fast move with business that I can get into just because of the pace of the thing. So why are they leaving the bid there? Because of VWAP, I think. I don't know for sure, but I think it's there to entice some sellers. Hey, come and hit the bid. All right, so appears like, again, this is my hypothesis, that the bid is there to try to suck in some selling. So what we can see is there's no big players going, oh, I need to do business before lunch. I need to cover, I need to do X. So that's of concern. So that's just another reason for me not to add. So I know, having been doing this for long enough, traders hang out for as long as they can. So they work off the clock. Traders will understand that this thing is not moving in a straight line. So they'll go, okay, well, I'm not going to cover here. I'll try and cover at a better price. And so they'll use the clock, but at some point there's not enough clock to get the better price. And so that's what I'm waiting for. So I get why there's selling coming in here. Now here's the first failed attempt to bust the trend to the downside. Either it works here, we hold this downtrend. So sellers are interested in that. That's some covering there, that buying there that keeps going up. See the covering? So we want to keep an eye on whether or not that increases as we start to count down now. Got no acceptance at 71, and that market maker's just sticking that bid a basis point lower We go again, some more selling, trades back, selling, and then the offer lifted again. So you have to watch the time and sales to see this. Okay, where's the bid now? It's tightened up, hasn't it? What's also happening? Flashing and that sort of stuff. Why? Well, let's have a look to see above or below if anything starts changing. There goes that bid at basis point lower again. Tighten back up. That's what we want. We want buyers lifting offers. Coming into the last few minutes here, I was able to get my ad. I just used the tape. So the hypothesis worked. Right now, I only know that when I eventually finish the trade as per what the hypothesis was. Not my job to get in the bottom, get out at the top, just try to come up with enough that allows me to take more out than when I lose.